payment card industry data security standard. It's a standard that is a set of 12 high-level requirements. There's 288 sub-requirements. Wowzer, right? Here's the thing. Not every requirement applies to every business in every situation. All it's doing is acting as a risk assessment tool. You plug in some basic pieces of information, not just how you process credit card transactions and other payment cards, prepaid, debit, etc. But you also talk about things like, what does your network environment look like? Are you storing cards after you authorize them for any reason whatsoever? What are your policies and procedures? And then out pops the requirements that apply to you. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But what I would tell most of you here today is that when it comes to this standard, it is an excellent starting point, and probably even more than just a starting point. There's, in some cases, even a lot more than you can do besides what PCI DSS asks for you. It just depends. And so, for those of you who have never had any sort of formal risk assessment, or you don't even have your own IT person, right? You have your IT guy or your website person who maybe you see once or twice a year. This is a great way to be able to start speaking their language and be more confident in doing so. How many of you have fire extinguishers? Right? Even if the law didn't require it, how many of you would have fire extinguishers? Right? And if you think about it, the reason we have a fire extinguisher is what? Place catches fire, we're going to go ahead and do stuff. It doesn't mean we don't do other things to fireproof our places of business, right? If you have a data center, they actually have all sorts of fire suppression equipment. Maybe you have sprinklers, maybe you have asbestos in the ceiling still. I don't know. But there's things that you do to try to prevent fires regardless, even though you have suppression techniques. And when I think about data security, especially for those folks who haven't begun it before or don't feel comfortable talking about it, you have to think about it like a fire extinguisher in many ways as well. There's a lot of things that bad people can do that can have equal or greater impact than a fire. We really need to start thinking about the concept in those types of terms. So if you were to suffer a breach, which happens a lot to small businesses nowadays, you're really lucky to get away in the tens of thousands of dollars.